Hi, everyone. My name is Teresa Shaheen, and I'm the Faculty Director of the Social Innovation Initiative at Yale Jackson School of Global Affairs. I'm also a senior lecturer at the Yale School of Management, and that's where I met Peter.
There we go.
And I'm happy to be here.
I'm so happy you are here.
Me too. This is fun.
Excuse, as we talked about earlier, just to have favorite faculty on
Yeah,
advising people on
exactly.
job searching with purpose, and career building with purpose. So maybe just why don't we open with the big thing, which is like if you were to give one piece of advice to job hunting with
Yeah.
purpose, what is
I'm
that?
so glad you asked because I do have one piece of advice that I always give, and it's based on my own experience when I finished my terminal degree 15 years ago, and I was really having a very existential moment in terms of I had a plan going into graduate school. I was going to go back home to Lebanon and continue working on UN projects and be regional director, but I would have a fancy degree. And then I realized over 5 years at grad school that I need a new plan. And I didn't know what that was. And I became, over the course of my research and exploration, I became very interested in social entrepreneurship, which is what I teach now. But it wasn't what I had studied. It wasn't what I had experience in. It wasn't what I had a network in. And so the advice I give people is based on what I did next, which is, and I don't know where I got this from, I just very, very systematically requested informational interviews with anyone who I thought was cool. And I used a very specific formula that I now teach in my class at Yale, that's in my book. It's in my Coursera course. And it goes like this. You send an email with, first of all, if you have a university email, always send it from that or your work email or your most professional email. If you don't sweat. You put in the subject line, request for informational interview. You put in the email body 3 sentences and 3 sentences only. The first sentence is specifics about yourself, in a way that would make someone care or be interested in you, not in a show-offy way. Like, for example, I would say something like, hi, I just graduated with a public health degree and I'm really interested in social entrepreneurship. Something like that. Like, it'd be as specific as possible. The second sentence is about the person you're emailing. Again, as specific as possible. I'm interested in your work at the World Bank and I'm looking to learn more about opportunities for people like myself. Or I read your article about XYZ and it really resonated with me, or something like that, as specific as you can get. The third sentence is always, if your schedule allows, I would be grateful for 20 minutes of your time. That's it. Anything longer, when I get longer emails, I archive immediately. You start an Excel sheet or a Google spreadsheet or whatever, and you write down all the people you've emailed and when you emailed them, okay? Yep. Now, people increasingly over time don't write back these days if they don't know you because there's so many emails, they don't owe you a reply. You wait 7 days, you email again, and you also record that. You keep track of everything. And you say, I hope I'm not bothering you. I just wanted to double check and see if you might have a moment to connect. Keep it simple the second time. These days, myself, if I'm being honest, I actually will only answer like the second or third time if I don't know someone. So the third email should say, dear so-and-so, I'd be so grateful for a little bit of your time as I, conduct my explorations towards finding my passion, something really honest and vulnerable. And if it helps, here are some times that I could suggest in the coming 2 weeks. So give specific times to choose from. Or if there's someone I can email to get on your calendar or times that work for you, please let me know. So then you're actually giving them something to respond to.
Yeah.
I don't have advice on emailing after 3 times, but like it increases, like 3 times is good. And then, keep track of everything in your spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Then when you talk to the person, also keep track of when you talked to them, when you thanked them, which should be within 24 hours, and who else they recommended you talk to in the last column. And then you use the snowball method to reach out to everyone they recommend. So that's the formula for systematically exploring anything you like through informational interviews.
Yep.
And I do have some advice also about what to do and say in the interview once you get it, if that helps.
It certainly does.
Okay. So What I say for the interview itself is like the person's going to come into the call thinking about getting off the call. So you don't want to make them feel trapped or like that you're going to keep them forever. You're going to start by thanking them for your time, by refreshing their memory about yourself against one sentence, again, one sentence, and also about why you want to talk to them. And then have a specific question. Have like a couple of specific questions for them, like up to 3, but not too many. Um, you want to start with specific questions that you've prepared so they feel that you've done your research and haven't wasted their time. Do as much research as you can about them. Yeah. But then don't be over prepared with too many questions, because most of the conversation will be follow-ups based on what they say. You'll ask them follow-up questions or comment on what they said or reflect on your experience about what they said. And so you know, I've been in phone calls where we would just keep talking and talking. And then at some point I'd say, well, I want to be respectful of your time. And I did only ask for 10 or 15 minutes, even though the template says 20. But like, you kind of have to read the room, as they say. So I should probably let you go. But is there any last words of advice or anyone you'd recommend I speak with? Always ask who else they recommend you should speak with. And then thank them and email the other people. If you have the other problem where you feel like the interview's over so fast, like one time I got everything I wanted in 7 minutes and I was like, it would be kind of rude to hang up now. Like that would be transactional. How do I keep the person on the phone longer? I think 10 minutes is a good minimum time. You could always, a good question to ask if you've already gotten everything you need and it's only been a few minutes is, I don't want to keep you too long. And this has already been so helpful. I just wonder if you could share any thoughts about your future directions. I'm sitting here focusing on my future directions, but what does your future career look like, or like what's next for you? And just get them talking about themselves some more. So the point here is to just be a human, be vulnerable, and to see them as humans, not as like someone you're trying to get something out of. They should never be under the suspicion that you're trying to get a job. That just turns people off. You just want to learn. You just want information. People like talking about themselves. So if they really feel that that's genuinely all you want, then most people say yes. When I see that my book or my course or my podcast is mentioned, then I at least sometimes write back with a courteous response. Like, it's so nice to meet you and I wish you the best on your journey. But right now I'm teaching this course and I have 70 students. So I kind of just have to meet with them. Or I might ignore the first email, but if that person emails me 2 or 3 times, I'll be like, let's connect in the summer.
Yes.
When
And
I'm
give them
not
a time.
teaching or
Yeah.
something.
And I love that. I love that piece on persistence because I've heard that from so many senior people that it's the second forward that they look at. And it's not the first one. Because you just need that.
I also think it's so important to be humble. And I try to do that when I reach out to people. When I get an email from someone who's trying to act like they already know me, just because we have someone in common or something like that, that really turns me off. When it's like overly friendly and familiar, it's like, you don't know me. You're asking for my time. Like, don't make it sound like it's an assumption that we're going to meet,
Yeah. Great tips.
I hope that doesn't sound arrogant. It's just like when I reach out to someone I don't know, then I don't assume they're going to meet with me. I'm like really grateful to them for even reading this email.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that comes through and I get a really high response rate. I just email people I admire. Like, I can tell you a story that happened recently if you want 2 stories. 2 stories to like end on a positive note and kind of like...
And this is even more bonus time with Teresa's.
I was reading a really moving book. And it was like Sunday morning at 7. And I emailed the author something like deeply personal and full of gratitude. And the author wrote back like within less than 2 hours and said, what a beautiful email to receive. Thank you. I hope our paths cross, And I wasn't asking for anything. It was a thank you email. Thank you for existing.
Thank you for writing.
Thank you for writing this. And then soon after, a colleague told me about someone I had never heard of who just got a new role as a dean in a business school and who had come from a social sector background like myself. And I looked that person up and I was like, oh my God, how amazing. Wow. Like, I kind of wish I worked there. I shouldn't be saying this in public, but anyway, it was just like, I kind of wish that person was in my life was a better way to say it. And I emailed her and I said, I was so happy to find out that you are now the dean of this school of business. And I kind of envy the people that work there because I have a feeling you're going to create an amazing culture. And I really look forward to following your success. And if there's ever an opportunity to build relationships with like minded people in your school, I'd be eager to come visit. So, please let me know. But I'm not expecting a reply, like my eagerness to meet amazing people to the side. I just want to say congratulations and I look forward to watching your rising star or something like that.
Yeah.
And she wrote back also in less than 2 hours and said, like, thank you for your nice email. I forwarded it to the associate deans and to the like social innovation people. And if there's an opportunity, we'd love to have you come visit. And I did reply and say, I wasn't expecting a reply, but I'm delighted I got one. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So it's like when it's really genuine connection and people
Yes.
hear your enthusiasm and humility and lack of transactionfulness.
Yes, or
Whatever
like
that word is.
lack of transaction obsession. It's like you're not obsessed with the transaction.
Yeah, like I think you're cool.
You're working on
You
the
don't owe
relationship.
me anything.
Yeah.
But if I ever get to, hear your thoughts, that would be amazing. I
Yeah.
think that that's just the vibe you want to go in with.
Agreed.